Hey everyone, welcome to the Everyday Human podcast. My name is Easton Taverna. Each day I'll share a reflection written by me and inspired by literature, poetry, music, movies, video games, and more. And after that, I'll share a prompt for you to write your own reflection. Together, we'll explore what it means to be human. Every month, we'll walk a new path, taking a look at life, death, the universe, and everything in between. Thanks for coming along. I'm glad you're here. For more, visit eastontaverna.com or join me on Instagram at _everydayhuman. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Everyday Human. It's January 19th. I hope you're doing well. Today's reflection is titled, What is it you need? And it was inspired by something that I wrote. Not something previously from one of my comics or books or old poems or anything like that. It was something that I think I was just having a thought about that day, and rather than seek out a quote from someone else, I wrote down my thoughts and thought, hey, this is probably something that would go nicely in the Everyday Human. So this is where it is first being published. And I will say, before we get into the actual quote and reflection, that this is not directed at you, because I don't even know you. Maybe I do. I'm not even sure who's listening, I guess I should say. Or other people. These are thoughts that I have had for myself, and these are things that I believed I needed at some point in my life. And maybe that point was years ago. Maybe it was this morning. Maybe it's something that I will think I need in the future. But these are reminders to myself in general, and maybe they can speak to you as well. And I'm human. It's not to say I don't do any of these things anymore, because some of them are actually very nice to do for yourself. My thought was, what is it I actually need? Anyway, enough of that. Let's get into it so you can think about it for yourself. The quote goes like this. There lies a chest buried within the cave of your soul, one you have not seen, but its presence you can feel. Within it lies a rock of strength, heavy, solid, and steadfast. You need only seek it to find it. You need only open it to take it. And on to the reflection. You do not need coffee to wake up in the morning. You do not need a drink after what you perceived was a hard day. You do not need to eat when you're feeling sad. You do not need to start the car before getting into it in the winter. You do not need to run the water for 5 minutes before getting into the shower. You do not need a machine to help you perform menial tasks. You do not need to be an expert on everything. You do not need to be perfect. You do not need to say yes to everything and everyone. You do not need someone else's permission to make art. You do not need someone else's recognition to do a good deed. You do not need to have an opinion on everything. You do not need to watch the news to be a good citizen. You do not need your phone. You do not need social media. You do not need the approval of others to love yourself. You do not need another's love to be happy. You do not need someone else to tell you how to live your life. You do not need your life to be easier. You do not need a God to answer your prayers in order to save yourself. You can carry more than you think. And that's the end of that reflection. I will say I did have coffee this morning to wake up. However, sometimes you need to remind yourself, these things are nice to have. I do not need them, and I do not need to let them run my life. And now on to the reflection question that you can write down your thoughts on in your journal or think about while you're walking or driving or looking at the sky. Ask yourself this. If I do not need these things, then why am I doing them? And what is it I need? All right. That is it for today. I'll be back tomorrow, which is January 20th, with another reflection. Have a good one and take care.